Liam Payne, from his quick rise to fame with the boy band One Direction to his later personal struggles ending in a tragic death.
An unexpected revelation has just been made public by Liam Payne's parents, which no one anticipated. They have come to the conclusion that it is time to reveal everything to the world after the unexpected death of their son. We want you to know that this revelation is much more significant than anything you could possibly imagine. For far too long, they have concealed this information from them. On the other hand, they are now prepared to reveal the truth, which has left everyone in a state of shock. Fans are in a state of disbelief, and questions seem to be circulating all over the world. What could possibly be so enormous that it completely altered everything? The information that they have just disclosed is connected to the tragic death of Liam Payne, so make sure you stay here. This is the story of Liam Payne's unstoppable journey. In October of 2023, former One Direction star Liam Payne was tragically killed after falling from a hotel balcony in Buenos Aires. His death was a tragic event that came about as a result of a tragic accident. He suffered life-threatening injuries as a result of the fall, and his body was discovered in the inner courtyard of the hotel later on. According to the investigators, the scene was unsettling, and they reported the presence of drugs, including the notorious pink cocaine, also known as Tootsie, as well as Kazam, which is more commonly referred to as Copin. One person described Liam's hotel room as being disorganized. We discovered a peculiar mixture of substances, as well as broken items that were dispersed all over the place. In the vicinity of the location where Liam's body was found, there was a bottle of whiskey, a lighter, and a mobile phone that were scattered around. The circumstances surrounding his passing continue to be murky, and the authorities are continuing their investigation into the specifics. As a result of the presence of drugs, the incident has been completely overshadowed, and questions have been raised regarding the celebrity's struggle with addiction and mental health. A person whose life had been so publicly struggling while simultaneously attempting to rise above it has had their life cut short as a result of the sudden and tragic loss, which has left fans and friends in a state of shock. On the other hand, what transpired in that hotel room prior to his falling 45 feet to the ground? This is the piece of the puzzle that has been missing. Immediately after hearing the tragic news, Liam's family issued a statement in which they expressed their heartbreak and devastation, saying, "We are shattered. The memory of Liam, who was such a warm, funny, and courageous individual, will remain with us for the rest of our lives." Furthermore, the family has requested privacy during this extremely distressing period, as they are attempting to provide support for one another. Liam was only 31 years old at the time. His passing, which is still being investigated, has left many people in a state of disbelief. Pablo Polisicchio, who serves as the communications director for the Ministry of Security in Buenos Aires, shared the information that Payne had jumped from the balcony of his room. Even though the investigation is still ongoing, there is one thing that is certain: the world has lost a talent that will be remembered forever, much too soon. The 29th of August, 1993, found Liam James Payne making his debut into the world in Wolverhampton, England. In a warm and supportive family, he was raised alongside his two older sisters, Nicola and Ruth. A scarred kidney that required medical attention was one of the health problems that Payne had to deal with when he was a child. He also suffered from frequent illnesses. In spite of these challenges, Payne was very active in sports, particularly in the sport of cross-country running. For the purpose of pursuing a career in running, he became a member of the Wolverhampton and Bilston Athletics Club. Over the course of 3 years, he maintained a position among the top 3 runners in the country in the 1,500-meter race for his age group. Payne began taking boxing classes when he was 12 years old as a means of coping with the bullying he experienced at the hands of older students in secondary school. After completing 11 General Certificate of Secondary Education (GCSE) exams at St. Peter's Collegiate School, which is now known as St. Peter's Collegiate Academy, he went on to study music technology at City of Wolverhampton College. Despite these obstacles, he was able to achieve significant academic success. It was early on in his career that he got his first taste of the entertainment industry. He joined the Pink Productions Theater Company, where he played the role of Tony Manero from the musical Saturday Night Fever. Payne also gave a performance in front of a crowd of 26,000 people attending a Wolverhampton Wanderers football match. This was a momentous occasion that provided a glimpse into his potential for future prominence. Early experiences in performance and overcoming challenges helped him build the foundation for the resiliency and passion that would define his career. These experiences helped him overcome adversity. Liam Payne's meteoric rise to fame began in 2010, when he made his debut as a contestant on The X Factor. He gave a remarkable rendition of Michael Jackson's song, Billie Jean, which left the judges in awe. However, fate had other plans for him, despite the fact that he was initially eliminated during boot camp. As a member of the boy band One Direction, which had just been formed, he was invited to return. After this unexpected turn of events, his life would never be the same. As a result of the group's meteoric rise to fame on a global scale, they became one of the most iconic boy bands the generation had ever seen. Payne's distinctive voice and charisma helped him become a fan favorite, which contributed to the consolidation of his position in popular culture. His albums topped the charts, and his world tours were completely sold out. But what exactly was the driving force behind One Direction's meteoric rise to fame? Not only was it the band's music that was easily communicable, but it was also the band's personalities that were approachable and their strong connection with their fans. They were able to establish a close connection with their audience by candidly discussing their personal lives and experiences, which resulted in a profound sense of resonance. 2016 was the year that One Direction made the announcement that they would be taking a break. The third one. Could you please tell me what your plans are for the break? Due to the fact that the schedule has been so chaotic, I believe that we are all kind of in the same boat, as you say. The fact that I don't have any plans is going to be a very pleasant experience. It was not the conclusion. This was merely the beginning of a new chapter in the story. The music career of Payne continued with the release of solo tracks, as well as collaborations with other artists. He was eager to explore new avenues of musical expression. However, that was not the end of it. When Payne decided to start his own clothing line, he took a courageous step into the world of business. You could not have possibly predicted it. Using his platform, Payne advocated for issues relating to mental health and the poverty of children. As a result of his candidness regarding his battles with anxiety and depression, a great number of people have been motivated to seek assistance whenever they feel the need to do so. Not only does Payne's meteoric rise from a young boy in Wolverhampton to a superstar on the international stage demonstrate his immense talent, but it also exemplifies his unyielding determination and unwavering fortitude. The fact that he has overcome a great number of obstacles demonstrates that if one is willing to put in a lot of effort and is determined, then anything is possible. Liam Payne's journey beyond One Direction. While Payne was making these daring moves, One Direction was still attempting to seize the moment while they were experiencing global success. They released Live While We're Young, the lead single from their second album, in September of 2012, and it became an instant hit all over the world quickly after its release. Soon after that, the band released their second single, titled Little Things, which became their second single to reach #1 in the United Kingdom. Take Me Home, the band's second album, was released in November 2012, marking yet another breakthrough for the band. The album topped the charts in more than 35 countries around the world. One Direction made history on the Billboard 200 by becoming the first boy band to achieve 2 #1 albums in the same calendar year. This accomplishment has not been seen since 2008, when they accomplished this feat. Their meteoric rise to fame was something that could not be stopped, and this particular stage of their journey laid the groundwork for even greater heights to come. After the success of their previous tour, Take Me Home, One Direction embarked on their second headlining tour, which was appropriately named the Take Me Home Tour. During this tour, they performed an impressive 123 shows across the continents of Europe, Asia, Oceania, and North America. The tour was a huge success, bringing in a total of $114 million and firmly establishing the band as a household name in the world of pop music. During the tour, one of the most memorable moments was when Payne performed a falsetto rendition of Wheatus's Teenage Dirtbag, She did a great job of delivering the female part of the song, much to the delight of the audience as well as the lead singer of Wheatus, Brendan Brown, who joked that you can do my girl part whenever you want. One Direction had already established themselves as an unstoppable force by the time August 2013 rolled around, paving the way for even more significant milestones in their rapidly advancing career. During the same month, they released This Is Us, a concert documentary film in 3 dimensions that provided fans with an inside look at their hectic lives. The film grossed $68.5 million at the box office. In addition, they released their 3rd book, which was titled One Direction, Where We Are Our Band, Our Story, 100% Official. This was done in order to fuel the momentum. However, the real highlight occurred in November when they released their 3rd album, Midnight Memories. This album went on to become the best-selling album of 2013, selling 4 million copies all over the world. Their debut single, Best Song Ever, caused a stir and went on to become their single with the highest chart position in the United States to date. The band did their first tour that consisted entirely of stadiums, which they called the Where We Are Tour, in response to the overwhelming demand from their fans. There were 3.4 million fans who attended shows all over the world, making it the most successful tour ever by a vocal group. The tour ultimately grossed over $290 million, making it the highest-grossing tour of 2014 and the most successful tour ever by a vocal group. Tickets were sold out in minutes. Just 1 year later, in October of 2014, One Direction released their 2nd concert film, titled Where We Are the Concert Film. This film continued to keep the fire burning after it had been released. This movie was able to capture the magic of their performances at San Siro Stadium in Milan, Italy, which were completely sold out. It demonstrated to the audience once more why the band had become a phenomenon on a global scale. Following that, they released their 4th studio album, titled 4, which would ultimately be Zayn Malik's last project with the band. This album was released 1 month after the previous one. The singles Steal My Girl and Night Changes were so successful that they achieved platinum status in the United States of America, as well as in a number of other countries. In addition to selling 3.2 million copies, the album itself debuted at #1 in 18 different countries, further solidifying One Direction's unstoppable reign in the pop music industry. In point of fact, the band made history by becoming the only band in the history of the world to have their first 4 albums debut at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. This was a record that had never been accomplished by any other band. Payne was recognized as a key songwriter, particularly on the band's 3rd and 4th albums, where he co-wrote more than half of the tracks. He played a significant role in the band's success and was a key contributor to their success. Together with Louis Tomlinson, Payne became one of the highest-earning members of One Direction as a result of his musical and financial contributions. His creativity was instrumental in the formation of the band's sound, which became instantly recognizable. Through the establishment of Hampton Music Limited, a company that was intended to manage his solo endeavors, Payne had already begun the process of laying the groundwork for his solo career by the month of August in 2014. Nevertheless, Payne was not solely concerned with music. His spirit of entrepreneurship led him to venture into the world of fashion as well after that. As we were discussing fashion earlier, let's take a look at the various branding endeavors that Payne has undertaken. The development of Liam Payne in both his personal and professional life. In the year 2019, Payne expanded his influence beyond the realm of music by becoming the first global brand ambassador for Hugo Boss, a luxury fashion house. One of the most daring new chapters in his career was marked by this collaboration, which brought together his star power and high-end fashion. The first Hugo x Liam Payne capsule collection was presented by Payne during Berlin Fashion Week in July of 2020. The collection was met with a lot of enthusiasm and applause from the audience. Almost immediately after that, in May of 2020, he released his 2nd collection with Hugo, which featured a wide range of essentials for men, ranging from fashionable polo shirts to trendy trainers. Not only that, but Payne continued on. In addition, he became the face of Hugo Boss's fragrance campaign for Hugo Now, demonstrating his ability to transition from the world of music to the world of fashion without any difficulty. Not only did this partnership help him establish his position in the fashion industry, but it also demonstrated his capacity to transform himself in a variety of different industries. Payne demonstrated that his influence was just beginning to extend far beyond the stage through his endeavors in the fashion and business industries, as well as through the launch of his first non-fungible token. When Payne introduced his very own non-fictional collection, titled Lonely Bug, in June of 2021, he took a significant step forward in his exploration of creativity. The project was not merely an experiment in digital art. Rather, it was a resounding declaration of his intention to fully immerse himself in the rapidly developing world of blockchain technology and creative endeavors. Payne's distinctive artistic vision was displayed in the collection, which sparked conversations about the intersection of art and technology. The collection was able to capture the imagination of both fans and collectors. Payne's enthusiasm for non-fungible tokens, NFTs, had only increased by January 2022. His dedication to these emerging forms of creative expression was further demonstrated by the fact that he established a Twitter account that was solely dedicated to Payno ETH in order to establish direct connections with the crypto and digital art communities. On the other hand, Payne's story is not limited to his professional aspirations alone. Allow me to provide you with additional information regarding the personal lifestyle of Liam Payne's relationship. The relationships that Liam Payne had were a significant factor in the development of the man who was behind the headlines. The romantic relationships that Liam has in his life have not only had an impact on his personal life, but they have also had a profound and subtle impact on his professional experience. His early relationships, such as those with X Factor dancer Danielle Peaser and childhood friend Sophia Smith, provided him with stability during the chaotic rise to fame that One Direction experienced. But the relationship that he had with Cheryl was the one that marked a significant turning point in his life. It is undeniable that the relationships that Liam Payne has maintained throughout his life have played a significant role in shaping both his personal and professional journey alike. His early relationships, such as his time spent with X Factor dancer Danielle Peaser and his friendship with Sophia Smith from his childhood, took place during the storm of One Direction's rise to fame. These relationships provided him with stability amidst the chaos of global success. For Payne, however, a significant turning point in his life was the beginning of his relationship with Cheryl, which culminated in the birth of their son Bear in the year 2017. While Payne was attempting to maintain a balance between his music career and his role as a parent, he was faced with new responsibilities and a shift in his priorities. Even though they are no longer together, the sense of connection that they have with their son continues to have an impact on the choices that he makes. However, that was not the end of it. Throughout his romantic life, Payne experienced a wide range of emotions, including happiness, sadness, and everything in between. Nevertheless, one thing remained the same from beginning to end: his unwavering devotion to his son. His relationships forced him to gain a deeper understanding of himself and to hone his priorities, which ultimately resulted in him becoming more in tune with his own requirements and principles. Not only did each breakup, reconciliation, and new connection make a difference in his personal development, but they also made a difference in his professional development. Liam had clearly entered a new and more mature phase of his life by the time he started dating influencer Kate Cassidy. This was evident from the beginning of their relationship. This final relationship, which lasted until his death in 2024, was a reflection of his maturity and personal development. Payne never lost sight of the people who were most important to him, through all of the highs and lows that he experienced. The path he traveled through love was replete with teachings, each of which contributed to the development of the man and artist he would become. The struggles that Liam Payne has been keeping quiet. However, behind the scenes, Payne was going through a lot of personal struggles. Since the beginning of his career, he had never been shy about discussing his struggles with alcohol and mental health, particularly during his time with One Direction. At one point, he freely admitted that during those years, he did not have a lot of positive feelings towards himself. His life was a haze of alcohol and pills, and there were times when he even considered ending it all. His life was a blur when this happened. In an interview that took place in 2021 on the podcast titled Diary of a CEO, Payne did not hold back. Despite the fact that his mental health problems were extremely severe, he admitted that the conclusion of One Direction was a tremendous relief. When the band finally broke up, he expressed his gratitude to God and acknowledged that although their success was beyond anything that could be imagined, the unrelenting pace had brought him to the point where he could no longer take it. He was afraid that if things had continued in the same manner, it could have resulted in the loss of his life. It might have appeared to the outside world that he had everything he wanted, including fame, fortune, and millions of adoring fans. But the truth was that his life was much more complicated than that. Regardless of how perfect things appear to be, the personal battles that take place behind closed doors can be quite intense. His story serves as a stark reminder of this fact. Additionally, Liam elaborated that the life of a member of One Direction was not entirely glamorous. As a result of their overwhelming fame, the band frequently concealed themselves in hotel rooms and remained there. He turned to drinking as a means of coping with the pressure he was under because he had little freedom and easy access to minibars. What began as an attempt to get away quickly turned into what he referred to as a party for one, a habit that remained with him for years before he became aware of how trapped he had been with his activities. When they looked back, the pain was a reflection of the toxic environment in which they have been living. The fact that they did not have any personal freedom made it difficult for him to even acknowledge that he had a choice in his own life, despite the fact that they did have some truly remarkable experiences. It was as if they were living in a bubble, cut off from the real world, where the pressures of fame distorted everything. It was as if they were. Liam began to realize, as he got older, that his early fame had stifled his personal development and began to acknowledge this fact. The fact that he became famous at such a young age left him feeling, to use his own words, confused about what it means to be an adult. It was brought to his attention that despite the fact that he was managing a multi-million-pound industry at the age of 22, he was incapable of performing fundamental life tasks. The act of paying for car insurance, which is relatively straightforward, seemed foreign to him. Fame, as he put it, had halted the passage of time for him. In spite of all the success and wealth, he still had the feeling of being a child in many respects, and he made it abundantly clear that fortune was never synonymous with happiness. Despite the fact that it provided momentary relief from certain stresses, it did not address the more fundamental emotional issues. In August of 2023, Liam was confronted with a significant wake-up call. He informed his followers that he had been admitted to the hospital because he was suffering from a severe kidney infection. It was necessary for him to postpone his tour of South America due to the health scare, and the doctors advised him to concentrate on his recovery instead. As a result of having to cancel the shows, Liam expressed his frustration in an emotional video that he posted on Instagram. He stated that it was not the appropriate time to start traveling. He revealed that the problems he was having with his kidneys were severe, and he stated that he would not wish the experience on anyone else. The journey that Liam has been on has been one of highs and lows, from managing a global pop band to battling personal health challenges. His reflection on fame reveals a deeper understanding of the costs that come with success. However, that was not the end of the difficulties. In addition to the problems he was experiencing with his physical health, Liam disclosed that he had been diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, as an adult. Upon reflection, he became aware of the significant impact that it had on his work. It was difficult for him to concentrate on songwriting while he was in the studio, and he frequently found himself daydreaming when it was time to put pen to paper. It was enlightening for him to receive the diagnosis of ADHD. After gaining an understanding of it, he discovered that creative outlets, such as painting and music, brought him more joy. His work process was modified to accommodate his requirements, and he learned to accept it as an inherent part of his identity. Liam's struggles continued to be a burden for him, despite the fact that these efforts were made. And in a tragic and shocking turn of events, those struggles ultimately took a devastating toll. leaving the world in mourning over the loss of a brilliant and indelible talent they held dear. In reality, what transpired during that fateful evening? Has he been subjected to an excessive amount of pressure, which ultimately resulted in this tragic event? In the comment section, please be sure to share your thoughts with us. For additional content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Furthermore, click the following video that is displayed on your screen. You are going to take pleasure in it.